Ideas for Impact, a new podcast where innovation meets sustainability head on. Let's take a fresh look at how we do business. Changemakers are innovating solutions to some of the toughest challenges we face in our world. In the process, they are creating their own mark on industry. Our guests are rebels with a cause. They are tearing down barriers, redefining success, and leaving a mark on their industries. Our guests are the disruptors who refuse to settle for business as usual. Join us to unravel the lessons learned behind their failures and their triumphs and uncover the hidden opportunities for positive change. Co-hosted by me, Joanna Buczkowska-McCumber, and my friend, Deborah Host. Our brains, the epicenter of our nervous system, perform around 100,000 chemical reactions every single second, making brain health crucial not only for cognitive function, but also for our overall vitality. This incredible organ not only powers our thoughts and memories, but also regulates countless bodily processes. If the brain is not healthy, we cannot expect our bodies to be. Joining us today is Ryan Damon, the founder of The Current, a new platform and experience that integrates health, fitness, and wellness technologies to enhance brain and body wellness. We'll dive into how these technologies are advancing brain health and the transformative impacts they have on personal well-being. Would love for you to share a little bit about The Current and what motivated you to start this journey.
The motivation was purely kind of selfish, to be honest. It was, I ended up hitting my head way too many times in life. I got to a point where by my 20s, I was dealing with some pretty bad depression. My motor skills were a little bit different from all the hits I took. I was an athlete all through my childhood. I played lacrosse at the University of North Carolina. I was the captain there. So I was doing well, so it seemed. But by my early 20s, I was really depressed. I started noticing the differences in my ability to do normal tasks, like whether it was playing sports or whether it was just walking around and not bumping into things. I found that I was bumping into stuff a lot more, and I didn't really take note of it until I was 33 years old. And at 33 years old, I only took note of it because the hits completely stopped me in my tracks. At 33, I fell back, hit my head on the turf during a game of flag football, a friendly game of flag football. And that turned into me not going to work for almost 6 months. That turned into me not being able to jog or exercise for over 7 years. It put me on a path with doctors and specialists and brain specialists, for that matter, that I never envisioned being on. It was like I was in someone else's body. I lost the ability to go to restaurants, to deal with loud noises, bright lights, any type of impact. If you threw a tennis ball at me and I had to catch it, the impact of the tennis ball hitting my hand would resonate so hard that it would give me headaches and put me into a dark room. So I quite literally could not move through life like I had in the past. And so after 4 years of taking 22 to 26 pills a day as my baseline from the doctors, I decided to try to find a different way. And I went out on a hunt for a bunch of different, I guess you can call them holistic, but really they were more in this world that is called biohacking. There's all these people doing this stuff to try to live longer and live forever and all that kind of stuff. So I started looking into that stuff and stumbled upon a set of tools that ended up changing my life for the better in a matter of weeks after I'd been trying with specialists, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, quite literally, to get my brain better. These new wellness tools, which were not medical tools, but just wellness tools, changed my life really quickly. And so when that happened, I had also been in the fitness industry for 19 years at that point. So I had done all sorts of jobs in the fitness industry. Sales and marketing mostly is where I spent my time. But I was on every continent across the globe. I was working with every big chain. We were trying to figure out ways to get their members healthy and happy. And one of the issues that I always saw was that, it was basically the same 23% of the population around the globe that was going to the gym each year. And here we were an industry that was spending so much time, effort, and money to get more people to come to that gym every year, but it was the same people going. And so when I found this new way to get my brain better, I thought of what other group of 75% of the population that doesn't want to go to the gym and doesn't want to work out for a lot of different reasons. And I thought to myself, oh man, what if I could get over to those people with this? I knew that the people who were already going to the gym were going to love this new thing that I found because it will help bring the 1% up to the top 0.01%. It's great for professional athletes, for the smartest people in the world. It's great for anyone who wants to get their brain and body better. But I knew that this might be a solution to get the masses to be able to feel better. And given that all of our issues in America, health issues, are getting worse and worse. Like there's not one single health issue other than cancer that is actually getting better. And so obesity, autoimmune, all these chronic illnesses, they're all getting more and more common. And so I thought there had to be a different way. And so the current is kind of one part fitness, it's one part recovery, it's one part mindfulness, but it's all wrapped together with a set of wellness technologies that I believe are the most powerful wellness technologies in the world, really. And when you stack them in the right way, you can create a lot of good feelings for people. And those good feelings lead to good decisions, and good decisions lead to good habits, which leads to a happier life.
That's amazing, Ryan. I've got a few colleagues of mine who are also entrepreneurs who almost became entrepreneurs after they had major brain events, concussions, etc. And that really shifted the way they worked, the way they, even looked at life, the way they
Yeah.
functioned in their family dynamic. So it's such an important aspect of health, but we don't ever focus on brain health in right in any things we learn in school or any support we get from doctors. And I'd love for you to talk more about brain health. Why is it so important
Yeah.
for us to, as all people, to really think about brain health as we not just think about biohacking and longevity, but just have a good quality of life?
You've made a really good point. I mean, it's kind of crazy, and I came from this world, but it's crazy how much we get marketed to lose weight, to get fit, to build muscles, to do all these things, and how little we get marketed to be happy and to make the right decisions that will allow us to actually go to the gym, that will allow us to actually not pick up the bottle of booze and pick up something healthier and do that. It's incredible when you look at it. I mean, it's really when you look at the amount of marketing that goes into all of these. I don't want to say that they're all gimmicks, but there's a lot of gimmicks out there, and they're just rewrapping the same old thing that we were doing 20 years ago in a different set of lipstick and wrapping paper, and promising the world to us. Now, brain health is everything. The first name of my company was Brain Right Body Good, because I wanted to be focused on brain health, meaning I wanted people to really know that if they got their brain right, if they got their brain good or well, then it was going to be a lot easier to get the body that they all wanted. And so it's really interesting because our brain health, one of the best things we can do for our brain health is get physically healthier. And eating contributes to our brain health. There's so many different things that contribute to our brain health, but it starts with decisions. And if you can't make a decision, a good decision, and then tag another good decision on top of that and keep making good decisions, then eventually, you never get out of the hole you're stuck in. And so I think that's a brain thing. I don't believe that people just didn't find the right workout for themselves. I don't think that people need to have a specific piece of equipment to be healthy. I think that people need to have a good brain on top of their shoulders in order to get healthy. And I think that when you look at people who have issues with whether it's their weight, whether it's, any type of physical thing they're dealing with, that is usually solved best through getting their brain better. If they can make their brain a little bit happier, then they will make better decisions throughout their day. And the more they make good decisions, then the more those become habits. The easier those things become habits. I got to a point where the brain health side of it was so important to me that I didn't even think about the physical side of it, because I had three specialists tell me before I turned 39, I'm 45 now. When I was 39, the third specialist told me that I would be lucky to make it to 55 years old knowing my children's names. Shortly after that specialist told me that, my life insurance company dropped me and I stopped being able to get life insurance. So Maybe that was a coincidence, maybe not. But either way, that was my wake up call when I said, oh my gosh, here I am. And I had about 5% body fat. I looked like the best I've ever looked in my life. And I had these doctors telling me that I'd be lucky to know my kids' names in 15 years, basically. And so for me, I said, screw my body, screw losing weight, getting muscles. All I am going to do is focus on my brain. And the crazy thing was that when I focused on my brain, I ended up getting by far the best body I had ever had in my life. Like it wasn't even close. When I made the emphasis, what do I need to do to get my brain better? All of a sudden I was looking in the mirror and I was like, wow, I finally have abs. Wow, I finally have the definition that I wanted before. Like it was crazy. And so that was why I called my company Brain Right Body Good, is because if you can get your brain right, it's really easy to get your body good. Now, I stopped calling it that because I had a bunch of neurologists from the NFL call me to tell me that a guy who's not a doctor should not have a company with the name brain in it. And so, in a politeful way, in a nice, polite way, but it was a bit of a wake up call to say, wow, this world of brain health is a little bit more convoluted than I think. Why are these NFL neurologists even taking note of me? And so, they are taking note of me and they are taking note of the things I'm doing because everyone wants to figure out how to get the brain better, but not a lot of people want to talk about it because when we talk about it, that means the issue's bigger than maybe people think it is.
What about brain health and technology is really coming together? Like, how has technology changed or helped the space where we're working on the health of our brains?
I would say that it's done a lot as to start, but I would say that it's like just barely getting started. We are literally the brain is the final frontier. We know almost nothing about the brain is the way to think about it. It's like we know about as much about the brain as we do the universe. And so I think there's a ton of technology that has made brain health better. It's given us a lot of hope that we can continuously get it better. There's a lot of different ways to categorize technology and brain health, to be honest. The first technology that I cared the most about for personal reasons was concussion technology. And that was the stuff that I dove into big initially until the NFL neurologist called me. But I will tell you that the thing that's most important is stopping the brain injuries or issues from happening in the first place. So the really cool technology that's out there is stuff for identifying concussions, doing baseline testing to know, okay, this is my kid's brain right now. And then here's my kid's brain after a season of football. What's different? Is there anything different? Or here's my kid's brain right after a really big hit where he doesn't know whether or not he got a concussion. And no one really knows because how do we test it? There's not a real test for that. Now there are real tests for that. And there's really great ways to know, oh crap, this brain is not doing well. It needs rest. Don't let that brain back in the game. That right there is like the most crucial technology I think that is needed in the marketplace. Now, on top of that, there's so many other cool technologies. I mean, whether it's the stuff from similar to the concussion analysis stuff, there's different cool wireless EEG tests that you do to be able to get a snapshot of your brain. There's really cool SPECT imaging stuff you can do to see the blood flow side of your brain. There's all sorts of different apps out there for meditating, for getting calm. There's different things with pulsed electromagnetic field therapy that are designed to soothe your brain and get your brain to oscillate at certain frequencies because basically our brain is blood flow and it's electricity. And that was the big point that struck home for me when I started thinking about my brain in the most simplest terms of blood flow and electricity. Then I could really start to like put a map around, okay, these are the areas that are bad and these are the areas that are not so bad. And I can go back and look in 6 months, 12 months and see what's gotten better or what hasn't to see if what I'm doing is working. And so for me, it was the electrical EEGs, the wireless EEGs that I was getting were really cool to see the progress that I made. And then two, I did something called SPECT imaging at the Amen clinics where I was able to see the blood flow in my brain from before I found the technologies that I have and then after I found those technologies. And I got a lot more blood flow back into my brain, believe it or not. And they couldn't really believe it. And so that was another catalyst for me saying, man, why don't I just launch this company? if I can help people's brains through a little bit of a workout mindfulness session that's actually fun and enjoyable, and it's truly optimizing their brains in a way they cannot get from a workout or nature or whatever, then that sounded like a cool idea. And then so that was another reason why I wanted to do this. Was I don't really talk about the brain stuff with my clients a lot because so many people just want to lose weight. They want to get fit. They want to be healthier. And so we lean into anti-aging. We're really good at keeping you young. So we lean into that. But at the studio, once you've been doing it and using these technologies for a while, you realize, wow, I'm a little bit happier. I'm a little less anxious. I'm a little less stressed. Could it be that this stuff is actually causing my emotions to be different? And that's when the light bulb goes off for people. That's when the switch flips and more people become members instead of class pass people.
I think you're taking me to this place now where I'm like, okay, so you are the current and everything around brain health is disrupting the pharmaceutical industry. Do you agree with that? Do you disagree?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think that I don't think there's much disruption to the pharmaceutical industry. I think that they're a behemoth that doesn't get disrupted personally. I don't think that one little company is going to do it. I think that it's going to take a movement to do it. And I think that movement starts with the kids that aren't born yet. I think that movement starts with us adults who are teaching people to learn about their physiology before they learn about taking pills, because this is a rabbit hole that's a big one because the pharmaceutical, I mean, you look at just like ADD, you look at like the things that people are doing to make their brains more quote unquote normal. Obviously, I don't agree with the way that we drug our brains to mask certain things so that we can feel different ways. I think that the emphasis needs to be on our bodies. And if we can teach people how to breathe properly, close your mouth, breathe through your nose. If we can teach people how to exercise properly, if we can teach people how to maybe do things that push them to the edge of their comfort level in a really healthy, safe way, like through breathing, for instance, there's breath work stuff you can do that can get you more focused, more relaxed. And this isn't talked about. This isn't stuff that we learn in school. Like, this is stuff that you have to go research the hell out of and pay a lot of money and like learn versus I can go spend $5 at CVS and just get this pill. Why the hell do I need to learn to breathe? Why do I need to learn to move? Why do I need to learn that it's important to be exhausted every single day of my life, at least once, for different reasons? And like, I don't know. I think that we just have gone away so far and as a society from like the most basic things, and that is nature. Nature is the most basic healing thing that we can get. Nature, the current, my studio, all we're doing is replicating and amplifying nature's energies or currents to optimize our clients' body's internal currents. And so we have internal currents going through us, blood flow, we have air, we've got electricity, and then those same things are in nature. And that's the same way that every single thing stays alive. It's the same way that everything heals is through these currents. And so rather than put a chemical into our body, I would argue that it's important to do the physical things first before being allowed to put chemicals into your body. And if you could do some of these physical things first, you might not need all those chemicals. So there's disruption without a doubt. There's disruption just because I think that the world became more awake after COVID. I think there became a lot of distrust in pharma after COVID. And so this whole mentality of put the fire out in your body, no matter what else it kills in the process. Like, I think a lot of people have woken up to that and thought, screw that. Like, I am not taking that antibiotic because I have a little cold and it's going to ruin my gut for the next month and take me another 3 months to get that back into a normal place. I'm going to see if I can just get healthy. Don't jump to the pill. Yeah, for me, and like that's a real hot topic because I was told I'd be a vegetable by 55 or 60. But one of the reasons why they told me that is because they knew that they told me I had to be on these 22 to 26 pills for the rest of my life. And there's no human in the world who could have lived on those pills for that long. So my brain could have gotten better. But if I kept eating all those pills every day, I was going to die at 55 or 60 no matter what. So I was like, got off the pills and had to find the other way because I knew the pills were a death sentence. That's my thoughts on pharma.
to that point of like where we're always prescribing a pill, prescribing like a band-aid solution to a symptom that exists for individuals for, so many different ailments, where we're never actually like holistically looking at the root cause of whatever
Yeah.
health issues we have. Because there's always a root cause, right? That sort of
Yep.
propels all these other things that happen in our bodies or our minds. And I've witnessed that from colleagues. Both my boys have ADHD, and we've had so many conversations about everybody just wanting to medicate them, right? That was the first
Mm-hmm.
thing that anybody gets to, instead of like the activities they could be doing or the physical schedule they could have, or just
Yeah.
like even, the experiences that they would have to get better and just manage that, right? So,
Yeah, and the frustrating part is when you go to see someone and they don't even talk to you about any of the other stuff. It's like
yeah,
it's one thing. I
yeah,
get that, some people might want to take the pill, but we
sure.
should be prescribing both. We shouldn't ever just think that the pill is going to be the long-term way to get this done. That's the
Yeah,
part that just frustrates me is there's not enough options out there. I've
yeah,
literally been
yeah,
kicked out of doctors' offices because I've asked
yeah.
for options and they've told me to politely leave because that's not an option with them to see somebody else.
That holistic approach, right? Like it's not just one thing. It's like there's a whole
Hmm.
system that you need to adhere to or use.
Yep.
Obviously, like you're just taking a different approach to working with clients and working on their health. What are some of the challenges that you've encountered in building your business and bringing this different approach to this work?
Challenges were a lot. Anytime you start a business, there's going to be a lot more challenges than you think. And first of all, if you don't have passion for your business and that, then all of those challenges feel like losses and you give up first and foremost. So like for me, the way that I've gotten through the challenges is because I believe so much. And I know it's hard for everyone to have the same passion in their business, but like you got to have a passion for that. Now, the challenges that I've seen come up the most for me, I mean, one, it's people. Obviously, it's challenging with some clients here and there, but finding good people to work with me, finding good people that will buy into a cause, that will really not only be able to do the job, but they'll want to do the job because lots of people can do the job, but not a lot of people want to do the job necessarily. So the biggest challenge I've had thus far is hiring and hiring right and not hiring fast because I needed someone right away, but making sure it's really, I'm waiting, and which is painful for myself. It's a lot of 7 days a week and, full 14-hour days, but like you need to have the right people around you because the people, I mean, you are only as good as your weakest link. It's like that old adage. And it's the same exact thing in a business. And just because you think that accountant's job isn't as important, or you think that the graphic designer, it doesn't matter if they're bought into something, it does matter. When you're a tiny little company, every one of those hires really matters. And it matters for your mental health too, because it really sucks to have to fire people. Like it really sucks to have to let go of people and have that awkwardness be there. And so when you're a young company, I think the biggest challenge is hiring the right people, making sure that they are mission driven. If they're not behind the mission, then they shouldn't be at a young company. They should be going and collecting a paycheck at a big company if they don't give a shit about the mission. And so for me, that was really important. If you don't give a shit, then you're always going to want to give up. You're just going to get to a point where it's always too hard. And it's like, oh, I had so many bad things happen today. I just can't do this anymore. And you're going to want to give up. But, if you give a shit, you're going to find a different way. You're going to say, so what if my hypothesis was wrong? I got another one. And here it is. Let's go for it. And so there's lots of other challenges that I came across, I would say. For people disrupting any industry, it's kind of a similar challenge. One of the challenges I had was getting people to understand why this was disrupting the industry. A lot of people would just look at my website and just say, looks pretty lame, or that looks like too intense for me or too lame for me. And they wouldn't even give me a shot because they didn't know it. And when people don't know something, they're really apprehensive about trying it. Figuring out how to get people comfortable. And for me, that was just coming up with an offer that was like, hey, come try it for 4 times for this amount of money. And if you don't like it, you don't ever have to come back, but come and try it at least. And so getting people to walk through the door, that was a big challenge. And I guess it's a marketing challenge because putting words down on paper isn't a really easy way to always sell people on an experience that you think is unlike anything they've ever seen in their life. And the challenge is getting people to come to your door. And so whether you're selling a software or a business service, just figuring out how to get the right message to your clientele is important.
In addition to all of that, what would you say has been the most valuable lessons or takeaways so far in getting the current to where it is today?
First and foremost, it had to be something that I loved and was going to have fun doing. I love going in there every day. I love being with my clients. I even love it when it's tough and I'm in the weeds. It's fun. It's something I enjoy. And so that's the most valuable lesson because I've done lots of jobs that I haven't enjoyed. And I've had lots of depressing decades of my life. And so I want to avoid that. And so one way I avoid that, it's very cliche, but you got to love what you do. And it's like, if you don't, quit and find something else because you can. And then the second big lesson that I learned was you can't be scared to start. And that's kind of a chicken and the egg game for me. Like I was terrified to start. I wanted to start this company. I wanted to start a company on my own in my 20s with my dad. And he and I talked about it for 15, 17 years before I actually did it. And he used to tell me that he had the confidence in me and let's go. And if I want to go, I want to do it. And I was scared to start. Now, my brain wasn't in the right place back then, I don't think. And so you don't just want to jump off a cliff without being prepared. But when you do the work, when you get ready, when you have that gut feeling, you're like, God, this is going to be great. Like people are going to love this. And I know why. And I've tested it and I've talked to people and they think it's great. And this guy poked holes in it, but I figured out how to fill those holes. When you get to that point and you're really excited and it keeps you up at night, you're ready to start. But that's a time when a lot of people will then wake up the next day and go, shit, well, if I start now, what if it doesn't work? And I've got school and this big bill coming up and taxes are coming up. And then this is it. And well, wait a second, this timing is never good. Never, ever going to be good to say, screw it. I'm just going to dedicate 24 hours a day to doing this on my own. And I might have no money at the end of every single day, but I'm going to keep doing it and keep doing it. And I'm never going to give up. And so don't be scared to start. Another lesson is deal with humility. You have a lot of losses, some people would call them when you're an entrepreneur. Like you have some days where it just feels like you're losing in every conversation you have. Those are learnings, not losses. If you don't love what you're doing, they're losses. But if you love what you're doing, then you learn something. You're like, oh shit, I was wrong. I learned this and I'm going to go do it another way next time, but I'm not going to stop swinging. I'm just going to swing harder because now I learned something new that might get me the home run next time. And so turn losses into learnings. And then really it's back to the part that was the biggest challenge of mine, which is surrounding yourself with good people. When you surround yourself with good people, then you look better, you feel better, you're more confident, you believe in them more so. When you believe in them, they like you more and you guys build a better community together. And it's just like 101. It's like, how do you treat your kid? Treat your employees the same way and make it a family. And it's different. It's not a real family. I actually don't like to call it a family at work, but it's like a real community. It's like a third space for you to be able to hang out and like really dive in and get to know people because shoot, if we do work a regular job, we spend a lot of our life with those people more than our spouses and more than our kids. Typically we're spending with these people that we work with. If you're starting a company, the beauty of it is you get to pick your family. Like you get to pick that. So don't fuck it up. Don't pick a bunch of people that are assholes just because they're smart or they're good at one thing. If they don't fit your culture, don't even interview them. Literally just don't, because I don't care what kind of awards they won in their last job. If we don't get along, we're not going to win awards together. So that's what I would say. Love what you do. Don't be scared. Deal with humility and surround yourself with good people.
It is very good advice that we all need to listen to. It is.
Yeah.
To dive into the last question, what is next for you and the current?
Hopefully more and more of these studios. I've got a lot of big goals to help people with brain injuries, concussion stuff, traumatic brain injuries, that population of people, PTSD, veterans, a lot of brain injuries in that world. So my big goals are to go after those communities. But in order to get there, we got to keep building the dream. And so the way that we do that is by getting more people through our little studios to prove that this stuff works for a myriad of different types of people. I mean, we have everyone from Lyme disease clients to concussion clients to NHL players to NFL players to house moms and everyone in between. I've got a 9-year-old with Lyme disease. I've got a 92-year-old with Parkinson's. We want to get more stories, more healthy, good stories out in the marketplace. Our next facility that we're going to open is going to be almost 4 times as big as this one. It's going to have more to it. We're going to add some strength training stuff to it, some locker rooms with saunas and cold plunges and all sorts of fun stuff like that. So it's more of a destination where you can come and hang out for a little bit and get to know people a little bit better. So that's what's coming next. And, hopefully after that, we can get out to the rest of the country and have these facilities all over and then really start to attack specific populations of people that need help the most.
Thanks, Ryan. This has been a great conversation for so many different reasons. I love being reminded of how important all of our brains' health really is for like the future, not just personally, but as a community. If we're going to continue to grow and operate together, then we all need to be healthy, not just in body and mind, but also in brain.
Right.
So thank you so much.
All right. Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate being here.
As we wrap up today's episode, we hope you're leaving with some insights, inspiration, and perhaps a spark of an idea. At the core of every story we cover lies the undeniable truth. What truly drives impact is the relentless pursuit of change, paired with a deep commitment to the greater good. We're always reminded that making a mark on the world is not easy and isn't just about breaking through barriers. It's about thinking differently about what impact means in our world and what is possible in creating it. Thank you for joining us on Ideas for Impact, where rebels with a cause redefine the meaning of what is possible. For more episodes that challenge the norm, follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're interested, dive deeper into our journey at ideasforimpact.ca. Until next time, friends, keep pushing the boundaries of what is possible.